Headlines. Obesity is a major public health epidemic in the United States, affecting more than 1 in every 3 adults and 1 out of 5 children, or about 15 million kids. A big problem here is high fat, sugary foods that are just so pervasive and happen to be Americans' favorite snack foods. We are talking about all the good stuff here: chips, ice cream, cookies, candy, the list goes on and on. And kids who start eating junk food early can develop habits that can really impact their health. And making matters worse, kids are targeted by junk food advertising on TV and social media. And of course, they're susceptible to it. The number of calories in these types of foods is staggering. A recent study found Americans are eating on average 400 to 500 calories each day just from those snack foods. So let's bring in America Tonight's medical contributor, Dr. Omer Awan, for a deeper dive. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Awan. You wrote about this in Forbes. I have to say I am guilty, especially if I'm stressed out, if I'm bored, you name it. So tell us more about this problem and how do we stop ourselves from grabbing that snack?
Well, it means the both of us are guilty because I'm certainly guilty of this as well. And I think it's a major problem and it's something that can be really habitual. Oftentimes, adults and even children will grab snacks and we're not really consciously aware of what we're putting into our bodies and worse, how much we're putting into our bodies. So it's very easy, as you can imagine, to be checking your emails and just snacking on items that can add up to many and many calories. The same is true for children. They can be watching TV and they'll just be snacking on, relatively unhealthy foods, foods that are high in sugars, high in carbohydrates, things that have really very little nutritional value. And the problem with this is that with time, this can develop over years to weight gain. And this is, of course, contributing to the obesity epidemic. As you said, more than 2 in 5 Americans are obese here, and 15 million children are obese. And this is a huge problem as it can lead to many different chronic health conditions and many cancers even. So a really big deal and something for us to watch as we track public health in the future.
Yeah, let's go to that because the rise in obesity in the U.S. is stunning and directly correlates with Americans' diets. The CDC actually reports between 2017 and March of 2020, 42% of Americans were obese. And we can break that down even further. 50% of Black adults were obese during that time frame, 44% of Hispanic adults, 41% of whites, and 16% of Asian Americans. And we should mention 15 million children also considered obese. Some cities have implemented taxes on sugary drinks. Others have considered taxes on junk food. Is that part of the solution, or what is the answer?
It really is going to take a multifaceted approach, Maritza, to tackle obesity. I mean, the obesity epidemic is a really big deal here. And, it does come to behavioral modifications, things like, being able to exercise, incorporating that early on, making that a habit and a positive habit as you grow and as you get older. Also, just dieting and watching the things that you eat. I think that's very important, but also just education. I think a lot of people aren't educated and a lot of people aren't vigilant about understanding what causes obesity and how we can tackle obesity. So this is a major concern, especially for children. Children, as you said, are exposed to this type of marketing, on a daily basis when they're watching their favorite cartoons or they're watching their favorite shows or their YouTube channel, whatever it may be, they're seeing commercials of Twinkies or chocolate or candies. And, this subconsciously will allow them and want them to get these type of things. But we as parents and as educators and teachers and public health officials have to really educate our children to make more healthier choices because it starts at childhood. It's very hard to turn the table and turn the clock on habits that are developed in childhood that then pervade the way we live, as we become adolescents and adults.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Have any tips on how I tell my son, hey, let's not have that bag of chips. How about some vegetables?
I go through the same thing with my children, right? So I think the bottom line is that, we have to be flexible, especially as parents. We have to understand that, of course, they're going to crave these type of things, but, there's a time and place for all of them. I think, from a personal standpoint, really important for us to, for the most part, give them the foods that are good for them, from a nutritional standpoint. But there's always rewards, right? Of course, they get that A on that test or whatever. Of course, there's no harm in occasionally going and getting ice cream and treating them out to pizza or something that they like and they enjoy. So I think balance is always key. Being able to have a balanced lifestyle, with balanced nutrition, that's always going to serve them well as their kids and as they grow older.
Yeah, maybe if nothing else, bring back cartoon characters for vegetables like Popeye with spinach. America Tonight medical contributor Dr. Omer Awan, thank you so much, and we'll be right back.